The more I improved myself, the harder dating got. And nobody really warns you about that. You kind of assume it's the other way around. You assume you do the work, you become a better version of yourself, and things get easier. More options, less struggle. For me, it was the opposite. And it took me a long time to actually admit it out loud because it doesn't sound like it makes sense. Let's rewind a little bit. Over the last stretch of my life, I actually started taking myself serious. I started reading more, and truthfully, it was something I wanted to do for myself, to be more comfortable speaking out loud, and just to educate myself about certain topics. I started making the most money that I've ever made in my life. I started seeing my consistency pay off, and I started making decent amount of money on social media. I got more intentional with pretty much everything. What I ate, who I spent my time around, the way that I spoke to myself when nobody else was in the room. And somewhere in my head, I had a quiet assumption that all of this would have paid off in my dating life too. Like it was part of a deal. Get better and the rest sorts itself out. But that's not what happened at all. I'd be talking to somebody that I'd probably be excited about a year or two ago, and I just felt like something was off. And I just couldn't point my fingers towards what it was. And honestly, it was nothing that she really did. I just wasn't there anymore. And the thing is, I catch myself already knowing that I wasn't going anywhere before we even started. Part of me missed the guy that didn't know that yet. It was easier back when I could get excited about almost anybody. Now, there was this quiet awareness that I couldn't turn off. It made everything slower, lonelier, in a way that I didn't expect. And I know for a fact that some of y'all felt that before. Like you just end up ghosting somebody for no real reason, and you just don't know the answer, you don't know why. Here's what I eventually figured out, and it's real simple actually, but it took me a while to be honest about it. It didn't get harder because I decided to be picky. It got harder because what I actually wanted from a woman changed. I stopped coming from a place of need, and really, that's all it was. When you have that void that you're trying to fill, when you're empty, you'll settle for pretty much anything that'll give you the time of the day. Attention itself feels like connection. Someone wanting you feel like somebody choosing you. And you don't even notice you're settling. You just needed something and they were there. But once you're not coming from that place anymore, it all looks different. You stop confusing attention for something real. And the people who used to hold your attention, they just don't do it for you anymore. It's not necessarily that you're better than them. It's that you're not looking for the same thing that you used to look for anymore. I didn't move the ball on purpose. It moved on its own. I actually tried to talk myself back down to it a few times. Tried to make myself be into someone because on paper it made sense. And I just couldn't. Once you see it, you really can't unsee it. So if dating got harder as you've grown, I'd actually take it as a good sign. I know it doesn't feel good, but it's not one of those problems that you need to hurry up and fix. It's mostly just proof that you stop settling. The place that I see most guys mess up, and I almost messed up too, is a place of panic. You feel the loneliness. You feel how much harder it's gotten. And somewhere in there, you start wondering if something's wrong with you. And the fastest way to make that feeling stop is to go backwards. Lower the bar. Go back to the kind of dating that felt easy, with the kind of people you've honestly outgrown, just so it's not quiet anymore. And I understand why you would want that. But personally, that's not something I would advise. The difficulty is not you failing at this. It's you refusing to go back to who you used to be. But here's what I'll leave you with. Be very patient with who you let in. It's supposed to be harder to find out. You raise the standard. Of course, fewer people are going to clear it. That's not something going wrong. That's the thing that you were working for showing up. I remember the one thing that I kept telling myself in those moments. Man, I remember sitting there telling myself, being alone while you're still becoming a better person is 100 times better than being with the wrong person just so you don't sit in that silence. The loneliness is temporary. It passes. The wrong person, it doesn't just pass. It costs you years you were supposed to spend becoming who you were actually trying to be. So if it's quiet right now, I let it be quiet. It's not a punishment. It's just the gap between who you were and who you're turning into. And if this video resonated with you, becoming better, and you don't want to waste on the wrong person, I made another video on how to actually choose her wisely. That one is kind of the other half of this. This one is why it gets harder. The other one is what to do about it. I'll leave it right there for you.